It's been a really odd year this year, and this week I'm going to do something which I'd not normally do until the end of October. What is really important to say to new growers is that this year has been another strange one, and things have started to go over a lot sooner than they normally would. Now we are heading towards the end of August, and yet my asparagus ferns are well and truly established. Now, if this were a normal year, they'd only just be starting to develop, but this year I really have blinked and I have missed the asparagus season. I've had some harvest, but it went over very, very quickly. Now the same can also be said of my artichokes and my cardoons. Now they are looking glorious, they're really tall, but they went over really quickly. And there's lots of beautiful purple flowers on there still, but some of them have started to die off and just be knocked over. So it's time really to cut some of those down. Not all of them, because some of the bees are still really enjoying it. And I'm either going to dry them so that they can be a really nice sort of dried flower arrangement come the winter time, or with others, I'm actually just going to lay them down on the floor so that any of our other bugs can enjoy them as well. Now with my ferns, because I don't want them to sort of be dragged over, I'm going to have to create some A-frames. Now this is going to help to keep them upright because these are going to grow a lot taller than where they are at the moment. So these are probably approaching 5.5 foot in height, and next to them I have got some of my sunflowers, and these ones haven't actually come quite through yet, and I have some of my little companion plants underneath, which again they've sort of gone over and they are going to self-seed everywhere. Now I'm not going to actually weed this area at this time of year. I'm going to save that until February, when I actually cut all these right the way back down and start mulching. But these frames are really important because of the wind. What I don't want to happen is I don't want these to rock and fall over, because that's actually going to weaken the crowns underneath. So very simply, an A-frame is just a number of canes. Now this area is about 5.5 meters, and what I have put in is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my A-frame uprights. And very simply, I'm just sort of digging these into the ground, although the ground is pretty hard. So if you're doing this, you may need to get your dibber in the ground first and then put your canes in. And I'm going to just attach them with cable ties. I know it's plastic, making sure that the teeth are on the inside, and just creating this A-frame. It is what it sounds it is. And then not maybe doing this too tight, because I want to make sure that they're going to line up as I go along the whole row, because what I need to do next is actually put some of the canes over the top as well. Now this is just to make sure that it is really sturdy, because knowing my area, and this is really important to know your growing area, this does actually get a bit of wind, despite the fact that I'm right next to a hedge. And historically, if I don't have them really shored up properly, what will happen is the wind will knock them over. So now that I've actually got all of my A-frames, trying to reach up as high as possible, I'm just going to put the crossbar across the top. And again, this is just to make sure that it's going to be really sturdy. Now with my cable ties, I'm going to feed it underneath and then over the top of this actual cane here, and then pull it tight. Now what I might have to do is actually just level up the other canes, the other A-frames, so that they are upright. They are going to be properly vertical. If they're slightly leaning, then actually you're just setting yourself up to fail. Now I'm going to have some crossovers on some of these, and again the crossovers, I'm just going to put another one of these cable ties, just tighten it up to make sure that it is in the right position. Now normally what I would do with these, or what I have done in the past, is actually then put some twine along the edges of these A-frames. But again, knowing my area, I know that that doesn't necessarily do the right job. What I want to do is again just make sure that I am adding an extra bit of security to these A-frames. And by putting more canes horizontally, and I'm only going to go 2 down on these, is again going to make sure that this is going to be a lot tighter and a lot more secure, because if it was just some of the twine, it will hold the ferns in, and I need to make sure that the ferns are on the inside as I do this, but it's not going to add that extra stability, and it's that stability that I'm really after. Now again, if I'm thinking in the past when I've been doing this, the ferns have been a lot shorter and I've had to do more than just 2. This is tuck that under there, but because they are already really quite well established, I'm just going to go 2 of these, and I'm just going to touch in the middle to start off with, being attacked by ferns as I go. I'm going to make sure that my sunflowers, which I've put in here, are on the outside of these, because I don't need those shoring up, because they will come February, they just won't be here, whereas the ferns will be. So tightening up in the middle there, which means that I can then tighten up on the edge, and I'll do this on both sides so that both sides where these ferns are absolutely securely in place. So A-frames, really stereotypically what we would expect to see on allotments, a really sort of nice old-fashioned kind of old school look that we get, but actually they are very, very functional and very much worthwhile getting done.